Hi everyone, it's Kira with Polymer Clay TV, and I just wanted to share with you today's video is going to be on doing the polymer clay bargello, however you say that, doing this technique with foiled clay. So we're going to take a patterned sheet, turn it into this, and then I made this really pretty ring. So let's go ahead and get started. Thanks so much for creating along with me today. So these are a set of Lisa Pavelka's mylar backed foils, and this is a piece of polymer clay. This is the raw umber color that has been, or burnt umber. It has been conditioned and rolled to the number 3 setting on my pasta machine. And you can see here that the set comes with 6 pieces of foil in different colors, and basically what we're dealing with is a mylar foil that has a glue or like color side, and it's attached to a clear plastic carrier sheet, and you can cut it up and do different things with it. And I've cut a bunch of strips, and I just wanted to show you how to release it onto your clay. So I'm just gonna press it down, make contact with the clay, and then rub it, also called burnishing. And make sure that it's really made contact all the way down the strip. And then to get this to come off of its plastic backing, you need to kind of pull it like a band-aid. So you're going to pick up the edge and rip it off. So now I have the clear plastic with the little tail end that I used to rip it off, and this is attached to my piece of clay. So I've got a foiled strip of clay, and it's gonna stick on there. And you can do things, it stuck really well, so you can pull on it and stretch it and give it a little bit of a crackle. Now this type of foil generally doesn't give big crackles, it gives small ones, like you can see kind of up in the top here. It gives a sort of glittery crackle effect. So it's pretty cool looking, it's fun to use. And now let's see how we're going to use it for the project. So for this piece I had a little fun, and I cut strips out of the variegated foil and out of the sort of mermaidy, I don't know how to explain what that looks like to me, this one. And then in between some of the strips I actually put Pearlex. So this is turquoise Pearlex powder, and this is Aztec Gold Pearlex powder. You can see I've got some metallic sheen going on there. And the strips have been sitting for a little while, and it makes them a lot easier to release. See that? Because I feel like letting them sit allows the binder on the back to really bond with the clay. So if you rip them off real quick like a band-aid, you get a lot less sort of skipping. And that one I did a little close there for my fingers, so I'm gonna go ahead and use my jewelry pliers to rip it off. There we go. So now I have this beautiful stripy, variegated, foiled piece of clay to work with. Alright, so now that I've removed all of the mylar strips and I just am sitting here with the striped clay, I have rolled out a piece of the burnt umber clay to a number 3 on my pasta machine, and a little bit taller than these strips, and laid it on a tile. So that is to the side here. I'm going to turn, and I'm going to grab a blade because this is where the fun of that technique comes into play. And I'm going to have to look up and see whether it's bargello or bargello, how are you supposed to say it. So first I'm going to firm up the edge here just by cutting off that raggedy piece. And we're going to just make thin strips, same way you would do any bargello piece of clay, by laying it on to the other strip, cutting thin pieces, and then this is how we do it here. This is how we make the effect, by staggering them slightly each time you lay a new one down. And what you're going to get is a staggered look between the pieces. And you're just going to keep going until you've changed the clay all the way from here to here. So you're just going to keep cutting off little slices and moving them over and staggering them. And you don't have to be precise or mathematical about how you stagger. Depends on what kind of look you're trying to get. You can move them all up exactly 2 millimeters, or you can, oops, I'll have to go back for the rest of that piece. But you do want to definitely see that they're sort of offset from the row next to them. Grab this piece. Didn't want to come all together. You can grab it with your fingers, it's no big deal. Just a lot of people find this part a little easier to do with an actual, with the blade instead of using your hands. It can be hard to do what I'm doing right now, which is trying to smush it over there with my fingers. Alright, so I actually think one of the things I'm going to do is release this gently from the tile first, because it's been on there for a while. And probably, because it's hot here, it probably could use a little release so that all these little pieces will come off of here without sticking. See, they want to stick to the blade, it's so warm. And this is one of the really fun things about these foils. You can see that they have like a very shimmery, they're not really crackling, but they get a little shimmery when you do that. It's fun. All right. And that shimmering is not going to be, it's not going to be affected, because all of the clay is going to look like that once I'm done moving it over from one side to the other. And with this technique, you're going to want to go stagger it up, and then when you feel like you've gone up enough, you'll stagger it back down, and you'll keep sort of staggering it one way or the other. So I can decide maybe that's enough up and it's time to go back down. Now that I've got a bunch of this pattern laid down onto my base sheet, I'm gonna stop and press them together, firm them down, use my fingers to do a little sort of mushing these closer together. And I'm going to stop here so that I can make something out of it. You can make your sheet as big as you want, but I am going to feed my impatience and lay aside the extra brown. I'm just putting it on the tile with the rest of my foiled sheet so that I can use it later. And I'm going to roll this through my pasta machine to create one merged sheet of all the different colors. So here's how we look right now. It's pretty fancy and shiny. And I'm going to roll it into my pasta machine in this direction to meld these together, and then probably once or twice in the other direction, just to make sure everything's all nice and firm. So here we are after running it through one time on the number 1, which is the largest setting on the pasta machine. And you can stop, honestly, whenever you want. You know, it just depends on what look you're going for and whether or not you're going to seal it with resin or anything like that. So I'm going to choose a piece of this to make a ring. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I have this fancy schmancy large like knuckle ring, and I think that that would be pretty cool for using a piece of this. So I'm going to make a base because it's a little bit deep of a channel there, and I don't want to just sink that down into it. So I'm going to use this to create my initial shape, and I'm going to do it by pressing that into it gently as if it were a cookie cutter. I just want to get the outline. So there you can see I got the outline, and I'm going to cut it just to the inside. I'm just trying to get the shape of how big the piece is going to need to be to fit inside this ring. It's going to be quite a slender piece because the ring is tall and narrow. Okay, so then to get a really interesting chunk of this, see how my ring is actually just a little bit longer than going straight up and down, and I wouldn't want to do that anyway because I want to get some of the funky pattern in there. So I'm probably going to want to go across it much more diagonally. Maybe like this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this here. And I have so much left. I mean, this is just a patterned sheet. I have so much left. I can make a pair of earrings or a pendant or anything with the rest of the pattern. So I'm just going to set it to the side. You know, here we do not like to get rid of scraps. It's a bad idea. So I'm going to kind of eyeball how long it should be. And how wide. That looks pretty good. And then I think I'm going to lay this down inside my ring. So I'm going to sort of smush it in there gently. And then lay this piece on top and cut off the extra. So I went a little wide here, so I'll tighten it up a little, cut off right across the bottom piece in a straight square cut. See how far up I can go, right to here. Cut that top piece off and then gently round these edges over. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just using my thumb on the sides to round it. and press it in. And because I kind of smashed the base piece in there, I'm not really worried at all that this is going to fall out after baking, because that base piece is in there smushed. And you can do this the same way you would do with any other piece of clay, and just use your finger to really round it, smush it, make it the shape that you want it. I'm sort of dragging and pressing at the same time with my thumb. It's like a drag and a press. And because it's foil, it will retain fingerprints. So you can give it sort of a final rub buff with your hand to bring it back to the shine. See that? After I bake it, it's going to retain that shine, and it's going to be a really cute ring. Now I have a piece right there where my bars of the pattern didn't exactly fit together. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to embed a row of beads right in there, right in that dark spot to finish it off. So to add beads, I'm going to use a knitting needle and just kind of pick them up, place them, and shove them in that crack. This is a sock needle. I got a pack of these from Susan Bates at the craft store. There were 20 needles, I think, in there. All different sizes. Very useful to have around in the studio. This one is great because it's getting stuck in the bead but not going all the way through it, so it gives me some control over where I'm putting these beads. And I'm just shoving them in that crack and then pressing them to get them stuck. That's all. Just stick them in there and then give them a firm press, and make sure that you're pulling the clay towards them as you press them down. That way the clay will go into the little holes in the beads and get all stuck in there. Everything will be good. And then give it a final rub so that you shine it back up again. And now I'm just going to go ahead and bake it. Now once you have all your foiled pieces and you've got like your leftovers, you can either wrap them in clear plastic like this, or you can do the little trick that I showed you a long time ago when I did jelly printing on polymer clay, and you can sandwich them inside this kind of little photo flip book, where now I have these lovely pages of foiled clays and jelly printed clays, all just waiting for me for my next project. So these extras are going to go into my little book, because I find this to be a fun way to keep track of what I've got and come back and use it at a later time. And it's fine on this clear plastic, and they don't get smashed. I know exactly where they are, and I can just flip through it whenever I want some little foiled pieces or jelly printed pieces or patterned pieces that were left over and I want to do something with them. So that's another idea for storage for you.